Well, we're excited to start the second part of our conference season here in 2014. First opponent is a nationally ranked Culver-Stockton team. I think they come in at number 19 this week. They've been very consistent at that 18-19 since the school year started. What an impressive team. And again, we can kind of carry this over from last year when they probably had the biggest turnaround in the NAIA from the previous year when they went from 3 or 4 wins all the way up to 27 and 28. They're blessed with enormous talent. They have a very good coach. Jack Schrader is a very experienced coach. Been around the MIAA for close to 15, 20 years, and in his third year at Culver-Stockton. So this is going to be an important matchup for us in a number of ways. One, we find ourselves a little bit down, having finished 0-3 the first semester in the conference. So for us to get back in the conference race, we need to get our stuff going, and it needs to be pretty quick. Just so happens Culver-Stockton's our next opponent. We've had 2 awesome practices. I think the guys are really starting to buy in. Our last game against Lindenwood Belleville, we went in there without our All-American, Melvin Tillman. I was impressed with our work ethic. I was impressed with the way we were able to handle not having Melvin out there. We just ran into a very good team that out-rebounded us, and we just did a very poor job from the free throw line. But I thought our effort was still good enough to win a lot of ball games. The challenge going into Culver-Stockton is they're very untraditional. They'll spread you out. They shoot a lot of threes. They attack the basket very well. They had a player that scored 44. James Johnson, who came off the bench last year, had 44 points against Columbia College. He's a post player, most likely, I guess, but he shoots mostly threes. We're going to have to do a few things to change things up, as most teams do. We may have to play smaller. We may have to change our defenses up a great deal, and we're going to have to even do a few things differently from the offensive standpoint. But I will say this, we've lost our last 3 games in a row, and my first instinct of going into this week before this game was our team was going to be a little down. And I found quite the opposite. We've been very upbeat. The guys have played much harder, and the attitude's very good right now. So this is a good time for us to go in and get our conference games going again. We've had some good practices. We've had good opportunities throughout the year. So now the tests, we're healthy. Melvin will be back in the lineup. In fact, I think we're getting a lot of good play out of John Palmer. Mitch Farr's coming on much better now with his shooting, and I think is becoming one of the better NAIA three-point shooters. Eric McDaniel right now is moving up fast on the conference rebounding list, and he will be back in the starting lineup. He was a guy we would bring in off the bench first semester. So with that, we're getting, I think, better role play, and here in another couple of weeks, we should be able to add another guard to our lineup that we haven't had, Tommy Powers, as he gets himself healthy from being out first semester with an injury. So we're very upbeat going into this week. We know it's not just, it's a 1 game. Culver-Stockton is probably one of the toughest places to play, but that's probably the one team I think right now our team would like to play. Finishing 4th in the conference last year. We were 1 place from going to the national tournament, and that 3rd place team was Culver-Stockton. So from a standpoint of returning players, that was 1 game last year losing at Culver that limited us from being able to get an automatic bid to the national tournament. So we got a little bit of things that we've got as a little momentum to build in for tomorrow night's contest. But our coaching staff couldn't be more pleased right now by the effort, the desire, the game plan that we have put together for Culver. So it'll be quite the contest, and we're looking forward to it. Well, again, being a team that's ranked 19th in the nation, they're most certainly not a one-player team. They have a point guard, C.J. Adams, who does not score a lot of points for them, but I believe last year was voted the defensive player of the year in the conference. So he comes in and runs a lot of the point guard spot. They have a couple of other players that are averaging double figures. The thing that's really impressive with Culver is they're averaging 92 points a game. So Gully's averaging 13. They have Miller averaging 11, Jarrett averaging 11, and two other players, Mills and Adams, that are averaging 9. And then Adam, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's a very good 6'7" player from last year, averaging 8. They play about 7, 8 players, and they're all averaging about double digits. I don't. If things are going well for us, that's all they're going to play tomorrow. I think whenever they play their better teams, they limit the number of players that are playing. Unfortunately, all those players can flat out play. I think they're one of the most talented teams in the NAIA. Our depth is about the same way. We'll have 7, 8 players, and I think it's going to be a battle of who can play their game plan. We cannot allow them to attack the basket. We can't let them get to the free throw line. And you can't take away everything from Culver-Stockton. They're just too good. So we're going to hope to prioritize a few things and to see if we can stick to the things that we need to do offensively. But statistically, they average 92 points a game. They're out-rebounding their opponents. They have a very good assist-turnover ratio, which says a lot about teams. They're shooting well from the field and from the free throw line, so it's a team that can be very scary on paper. I think they're probably even more scary when you see them on the basketball floor. But we're ready. We're looking forward to tomorrow night's game.